The Adventures of Ivar, Season 1, Episode 1. The Adventures of Ivar the Brave. A time that has been forgotten is a time not so long ago. This story is the story of a man that grew up with the chieftain's son, protecting him as much as he could. That boy's name was Ivar. He was the son of the village's top warrior, Morath the Mighty. Ivar was a normal height for his village. He stood a height of 5'10". He had long brown hair and dark brown eyes and a muscular build. His hair was normally pulled back in a bun to keep it out of his face, and the rest was braided. The son of the chieftain was named Grabnar, and he happened to be 2 days younger than Ivar. Grabnar was slightly shorter than Ivar, standing at 5'8". He was a muscular build as well, but a bulkier build. He had long, bright blonde hair that he kept in a braid and always had on his favorite jade ring. As time came, Grabnar had turned 16, and him and Ivar were told by Grabnar's father they must embark on an adventure to show that they are men, and to give them a title. Ivar and Grabnar were to find their own test of adulthood, and as they sat in the local tavern thinking, Grabnar had an idea. I have it. We go further into the mountains, to the ancient temple, and fight the snow dragon. Ivar rolled his eyes and drank more mead. He slapped Grabnar in the back of the head and said in frustration, "And what, in this world of madness, makes you believe me and you can take on a dragon? We have yet to even get decent armor or weapons. We would be skinned alive and cooked alive by that dragon." "Wrong, Ivar! The snow dragon would freeze us." Grabnar then belted out a boom of laughter, slapped Ivar on the back hard. Grabnar began to chug his mead and slammed it into the bar and ordered another. Ivar truly thought on what would be a good quest to show their worth to the village and to live up to his father's legacy. A day passed, and both Grabnar and Ivar were stumped on what to do. Ivar decided to go out and hunt for food while still trying to think of a quest that showed his mettle. On the route, Ivar discovered a wounded man buried in the snow. He dug the man out and carried him back to the village. The village's mage and doctor looked the man over. He was deeply wounded and had long recovery ahead of him. But he was alive, and he was grateful. When the man awoke 2 days later, Ivar and Grabnar questioned him on what had happened. To their surprise, the man claimed there was a yeti blocking the trading pass and keeping supplies from being delivered to their village. Ivar and Grabnar decided to tell the chieftain and ask for permission to end this yeti's life. The chieftain denied them, as he stated the yetis are nothing to scoff at, and sent 3 of his best warriors to handle the situation. A week passed, and the 3 warriors were not heard from since their departure. Ivar and Grabnar grew restless until they decided to go and see what was happening. Ivar put his leather armor on and attached his round shield to his back and his iron sword to his waist. He went back to walk out the door when he felt a strange feeling. He twirled around, drawing his blade, but there was nothing there. He shook off the feeling and walked out of his house and met up with Grabnar. Grabnar was wearing his rough leather with a woolen cloak over his shoulders and having his war hammer on his back, along with 2-handed axes on his waist belt. They set out on the supply route and wondered if they would be able to take on a yeti if the 3 warriors couldn't. The closer they got, the more Ivar felt a strange feeling until he heard his father's voice in his head. "The route ahead. It is dangerous, Ivar. Beware of the blue-eyed maiden." Ivar stopped as his head began to pound. Grabnar turned around and noticed Ivar's pain and decided it would be best to rest after hours of walking. As they settled down, they began to hear footsteps approaching them. Ivar drew his blade, and Grabnar grabbed one of his axes. As the steps grew near, they peeked out and saw it was a woman. She had long blonde hair and bright blue eyes, and was wearing a red cloak. She looked at them with tears in her eyes. "Help me! Please help me!" Ivar and Grabnar looked at each other, then at the woman, and they both were enchanted by her.